raise your hand if you know of someone who was using protection on some form of birth control or in some other way was actively preventing pregnancy and still got pregnant. Who is that person for you? Oh, who is it? Who do I know? Me. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lakeitra, and as you can tell from the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about how I found out that I was pregnant. So I'm currently now 22 weeks pregnant. So it's not like I'm just finding out. First trimester was a storm. That'll be another video for another day. I promise I'll record that one. But this video is just to talk about how I found out. I'm going to be talking about my husband's reaction, and I'm also going to give you a belly shot or show you what my stomach is looking like now, because we kind of in this thing more than halfway through. So stay tuned for the rest of the video. So let me start with the day I found out I was pregnant. So this was a Sunday in April. I had noticed that my period just hadn't come yet, so I usually track my period with the period tracker app on my phone, so I know around when it's coming. It's usually a day or so off. So at this point it was a day. I was a day late according to the tracker, but I wasn't really alarmed by that because, like I said, it's an estimate. So I was thinking, oh, it's probably gonna come another day or so. I had been feeling those like period cramps, you know, like those cramps you feel before the blood actually like drops out, and I'm like, yeah, she coming soon. So I mean, I wasn't too worried because I was feeling those cramps, but just for fun I was like, let me just go to Walgreens, get a test to rule out pregnancy. So I was pretty certain that I wasn't pregnant. I just wanted to get the test to rule that out. So if my period still hadn't come, at least I knew I wasn't pregnant, and it was just, maybe it was stress at my job, maybe my body was just doing some wacky things and I had to just kind of wait for it. So I went to Walgreens, got the test. Side note, does anybody feel weird buying condoms or pregnancy tests from the store? Do you think that the cashier is like judging you, or kind of wondering like, oh, I wonder if you're pregnant? I kind of was thinking that, but then again I was like, I don't care, whatever. So I get home, take the test, so my husband is in the living room, like watching a game or something, and I'm just kind of like in the bathroom, took the test. Even though I was like 98% sure I wasn't pregnant, I still covered it with, I covered the test with toilet paper because I just needed it to be covered while it was developing or whatever. So I remember sitting on my bed and thinking, wow, I'm not even nervous. Like, if I am, whatever. If I'm not, whatever. I remember thinking that. I also remember thinking, this would kind of be a good time for me to get pregnant, I guess, because I'm not scared. Like, I'm just like, whatever. I was so, like, calm and at peace about it. I was like, oh, whatever happens, happens, you know? I'm also thinking that, being 98% sure that I wasn't pregnant. So I walk into the bathroom, and I remember looking at the test with the tissue paper over it and saying a little prayer, being like, God, no matter what happens, you are still God, and we will be fine. So I take the test, I take the tissue paper off the test, and it's 2 lines, not even faint, like, bam, two lines right there, like, not even faint. And I'm like, I was like, I did this for about 2 minutes, just staring at myself in the mirror, because all I could think of was, how? Literally, how? Because I know my body, we actively prevent. So other people, I feel like, use the tracker so they can know when they're ovulating so that they can try. I was tracking my ovulation because that was the week to stay away from any kind of activity. So I was actively preventing. So how was it that the month before, when it was my fertile week. We used protection, but I still got pregnant. Y'all are like, oh, condoms break. No, that's not what happened. So I was just like, how? Sway, how? Let me just take a second test. Because, you know, sometimes you can get false positives. So I'm like, let me take another test. Y'all, that second test came just like the first two dark lines. And I was like, how? I literally don't understand. I sat on the floor of our bedroom over there. I sat over there on the floor staring at the ground for about 20 minutes with this test in my hand. Had the bedroom door closed, so my husband's in the living room, and I'm just like rethinking all of life now. Like, is there gonna be a baby? But when would they come? Would they come this year? Is it December? How many weeks am I? How are we gonna afford a baby? Are we gonna have to move? We're gonna have a whole child. How is he gonna react? So many things were running through my mind, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. So I kind of just like put the test in some Ziploc bags, put them in my purse, and was like, I have to call the doctor tomorrow and schedule a confirmation test because I literally don't know what's going on. And so for the rest of that night to for like 2 days actually, I just didn't say anything to my husband because I had to wait for the test at the doctor's office. No, actually I'm wrong. I ended up telling him the next day because I couldn't wait. I told him, and then the next day was the doctor's appointment. So let me tell you about how I told him. So the way I told my husband wasn't super elaborate because I wanted him to understand what was happening. I didn't want to do something like game because he would get like really confused. So what I ended up doing was after work the next day, I went to Target, tried to find some kind of onesie that said daddy on it. Of course, couldn't find anything. So I just got onesie like this that had pink and blue on it. And I put it in this bag. I put it in the bag, and I had also taken another pregnancy test that was digital that had the word pregnant on it because I figured the two lines would confuse him. So this onesie with a pregnancy test that had the word pregnant on it, put it in this bag, and that was my plan to give it to him. So I come home from work, and he, got off before me. So he's coding. My husband's a software engineer, so he's like coding on a laptop in the living room, and I walk in with these bags because I went and got this stuff. So I walk in, he's like, hey, how was your day, blah, blah, blah. We're talking, and I said, I have a gift for you. He says,
is it from Walmart?
Now, I think the reason he said that is because he saw me with bags. Why it matters where it's from, I don't know. I don't know why that was his first reaction to what I was saying, but it was. And that's kind of like a little insight into how my husband is. He's a little, yeah, he's geeky, he's nerdy, he's a little weird. But I was like, no, but do you not still want it? He's like,
no, yeah, I still want it.
I'm like, okay. So I walk over with the bag, and it's inside. I have tissue paper on top of it and the pregnancy test at the bottom. So I was like, here it is. So I hand it to him, and he was confused, I think. So what he ends up doing is he takes out the tissue paper, takes out another tissue paper, takes out the onesie, and is like, what? So he goes,
what?
And I'm looking at him like, you don't get it? Like, and he's like, okay. Like, he's just looking at it. And I said, there's another gift in the bag for you. I'm referencing the pregnancy test. So I just reach in the bag to get it, to pull it out. And he goes,
oh, wait, are you pregnant?
And I was like, and then he understood. So basically he thought I had given him the wrong gift. He thought I had given him like a friend's gift or a gift that was meant for somebody else. And I don't blame him because when you actively are preventing pregnancy, the last thing you expect, especially as a man, the last thing you expect is to wake up that day, go to work, come home, your wife comes home and tells you she's pregnant. Like when you aren't trying for one and you don't think you're gonna even have kids for another 2 years, that's the last thing you expect. So like it makes sense kind of that he thought I gave him the wrong gift. And I pulled the test out and showed him. So I just kind of like nodded, because I was honestly Like, real talk, I was nervous. I thought he was going to be angry. Even though he's not someone who really, like, he doesn't like to hold on to anger, or he doesn't really get angry a lot. I thought he'd be angry or disappointed because times in the past that we talked about having kids, like, currently or, like, right away, he'd just say, we're not there yet, we're not there yet. He has all of these plans for this, and this has to happen before we have kids. And that's just not how God had it. So I thought he'd be, like, upset or, like, disappointed or something. But he wasn't. I was just like, yes I am. And he was like,
Okay. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say.
like, I could tell a lot was running through his mind. It was a lot for him to process. Like, he's like a silent processor, and I was wanting him to, like, talk. But I know, like, knowing him and being married to him, like, that's not how he processes things. So I was just like, you don't have to say anything. I just want you to know that that's what's happening. And he's like,
Okay. I just don't know what to say.
and I was like, well, are you angry? He's like, no.
No, but I just don't know what to say.
He was so caught off guard and shocked. And I was like, all right, I just wanted you to know. And I, like, walked away, and he didn't talk for, like, the next 3 hours. One, because he was coding, but also because I knew that he was just, like, trying to process and understand, like, you're gonna be a daddy. Like, you're gonna have a whole child out here. So that was his reaction. It was what I expected it was gonna be. I was just happy that he wasn't mad. All right, so let's talk about this doctor's appointment. Okay, before I talk about that, let's fast forward to only 2 months before that. So my husband and I recently moved to this area, so I needed to get established with a new gynecologist because I didn't have one. You obviously can't have one from the previous place where you were. We moved from Ohio. So I found a nurse practitioner, actually. Her name is Kim. And so in February of 2019 of this year, it was my first appointment with her to get established with care. And also I had a pap smear, I had an annual coming up, so she did that as well. So, I met her, we talked, established care. Birth control was one of the things we talked about. So she's like, so are you thinking about the birth control? And I said, yeah, I want to talk about that. Do you think I should get on it? So at the time, I wasn't on any birth control pills. When we first got when we first got married, I was on birth control pills. And then about almost 2 years, about a year and a half of being pregnant, then I stopped taking them because I don't know what happened. I just all of a sudden didn't like the idea of having the extra hormones. I don't know why, but for some reason I was just like, or I just didn't like the extra estrogen, or I just didn't like it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop it now. And side note, the detox from birth control was a lot more dramatic than I thought. My body had been used to it, and not being on it, I was like teary one day and a rage the next day. The detox was like real, but that's, yeah, another subject. So I wasn't currently on birth control pills, but the method we were using is the method that a lot of other couples do, and it seems to work. You just track your ovulation. When you're not fertile, you just do whatever, but the week that you are fertile, you either don't have sex or you use protection. That is what we were doing. I know other couples who do that, and it's fine. I talked to the nurse practitioner. She was saying, yes, actually, that's a good idea. Just keep doing that. If you plan to be pregnant in the next 1 to 2 years, and for us it was 2 years, there's no point, she said, and me putting you on birth control and then having to take you off and get your body regulated if you want to be pregnant in 2 years. This is what she says. Instead, start taking prenatal vitamins so that your body will be ready at that time, and it'll just be, getting your insides all good and, ready for a baby at the time when you're ready. And I was like, yeah, cool, that makes sense. So that day, I went to Walgreens and started taking the prenatal gummies. So I would take 2 of those every day, making sure my insides are good. Didn't think anything of it. The nurse practitioner has told me the birth control method we're using is effective. Why wouldn't I believe that? So, fast forward now, it is April, and I'm back in her office. She opens the door to the waiting area where I am, and the first thing she says to me is, I feel like I just saw you. Yeah, you did. You did just see me. You just saw me 2 months ago because you did a pap smear and you was probably in there dang moving stuff around, creating a clear path for the sperm to get to my eggs and got me pregnant. So yeah, you are the reason, one of the key factors in why I'm currently pregnant. So yeah, you did just see me, lady. Dang it. So I was like, yeah, you just saw me for a pap smear and now I'm here for a pregnancy test. She goes, well, I mean, just come in and take the test and then we'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, we gonna talk. So I pee on the what looks like a Walmart test. I mean, by this point, I'm like, she just gonna confirm what I already know. But pee, whatever, come in her office, sit down, wait. She walks in and she goes, yeah, you're definitely pregnant. And I say to her, today? And she says, today, tomorrow, and every day after that until you're not anymore. And I'm like, well, look at that. Wow. Okay. So let's talk about how. So she wants to talk about, okay, so what'll happen is you'll come back in for this many weeks for this appointment, and then you'll have an appointment every month for the first whatever, then every 2 weeks or something like that. So she's talking about the rest of the pregnancy, and I'm just like trying to wrap my brain around like I'm going to be a whole mom, a whole parent out here. And she just like is talking about all this stuff, and she's like, yep, due date December. And I'm like, what? I don't even get to finish out the year? What? She's like, yeah, baby will be here in December. But end of this year, you'll have a child. And I'm like, it's April at this point. The whole year is gone. I'm like, it might as well be 2020 right now. Like, what? Okay. All right. Let me just wrap my mind around that. Okay. So let's talk about now how I got pregnant. I said to her, how? You told me the method I was using was right. Tell me how. So I popped up my phone. It was like, see, this week was my fertile week. We only had sex one time during the fertile week with protection, and I got pregnant. So how? How? Are you gonna tell me how? And she's like, yeah, okay, let me look. And she's like looking at my phone, and she's like, this green dot here. So basically what happened was my period ended on a Friday. There was Saturday, Sunday, started ovulating on Monday. So she was like, this green dot here on Saturday, and then this green dot on Sunday. Those were activity days. I'm like, yes, Saturday and Sunday. She's like, did you use protection? I'm like, no, I wasn't fertile. That wasn't my fertile week, hadn't started yet, not till Monday. Why would I use protection when I'm not fertile? And she's like, well, you know that sperm lives inside the body for 48 hours. And I was like, what? I felt like a 14-year-old in health class. Like, ain't nobody told me, like, I knew this, but like, it just wasn't clicking at the time. But she was like, so what happened was, when the sperm was in your body Saturday and then Sunday, the residual sperm basically is how you got pregnant. Like Monday, when you started ovulating, the sperm was already posted up. And they're like, hey, how you? Oh, you the egg? Oh yeah, we've been here. Come on, let's do this. Like, it was in the perfect position for me to get pregnant. Everybody, and I mean the sperm, my body, my eggs, the prenatal vitamins, and my nurse practitioner all set me up. And like my big brother in Ohio, we call him the Giant, as he said, that's a very expensive oversight, my friend. Yeah, you're dang right it is, because simple miscalculation is what happened. Residual sperm, I guess. Everybody didn't come out. There were some stragglers that were wreaking havoc, and that's what happened. And you know what, y'all? Even knowing all the information that I know about pregnancy and family planning, I still, the whole sperm living in the body for 2 days or 48 hours, like, I didn't think about that and planning. And I thought, oh, hop right up and get in the shower, like get everything out, clean it all out. That no sperm is left in there because I've washed it all out. No. A friend said to me, you know how you have a cup of water and you pour the water out, but there's still water like on the side of the cup that's left in there? That's basically what happened. Just because you see it come out don't mean all of it's out. I'm like, oh, this is real good information to know after the fact. In hindsight, yeah, it makes a lot of sense now. But the pregnancy has happened. So I was like 3 weeks, I think like 3 weeks at the time, the doctor confirmed. So, yeah, that's what happened. I fully hold my nurse practitioner responsible. This is her child. I'm not going to let her run from her responsibilities as a parent. She will be involved in this child's life. But then she says to me, oh, since you're pregnant, our next appointment will be the last one with me, and then you'll have to actually switch to the doctor who she's under, because she's a nurse practitioner. So there's an OB that she practices under, and that's who my doctor will be now. So I'm like, let me get this straight. You come in here, give me some faulty information about birth control. I mean, she left some stuff out. And now you leaving? You're not going to just come here in and out of my life. Like, no, in and out of this child's life. No. So every time I go to the office, because she's like, oh, I still work here. You'll still see me. Oh, I will. Because every time I go in the office, hey, Kim. Hey, getting big. Yes, I'm going to update you. I don't care if you're asleep and I go into labor at 2 a.m. I'm having them call you. You're going to wake up. Because this is your child. We had a conversation. You said I was good and I wasn't. So, nurse practitioners don't deliver babies. Okay, that's fine. I just need you to be up. If I'm up, you up. Our baby is coming. So, that's how I feel. Even though this is an unplanned pregnancy, even though my husband and I would not have picked this time, we are still very, very grateful for this baby. Let me just make that very clear, because I don't want this video to come across like I'm ungrateful. I was in shock, okay? I did not plan it. I did not think it was going to happen. I was not trying for it. I was just living my life out here and then found out that I was pregnant. So, but we are grateful for this child. We do know the sex of the child. We're gonna figure out a way to tell family, and then I'll make a video about that. But, so we're very grateful for this child. We love this baby more than anything in the world. My husband is very attached, more attached than I thought he was going to be, seeing as how he went from I don't know what to say to talking to my stomach and kissing my stomach and being like, bring my baby out of the rain, or like, bring my baby home. I'm like, they're not even here yet, but okay. So we are happy, and I'm going to make some back videos talking about how the first trimester was. I'm talking about morning sickness, all day sickness, being in the ER, throwing up 5 times, throwing up through my nose, stuff like that. The real stuff about pregnancy people don't talk about. Everyone's just like, it's a beautiful experience. There's a miraculous thing happening. Yes, but can we get real about all of the nasty stuff that's also happening to my body? And the throwing up and the not feeling good? Like, I'm gonna get into it. Because people also don't know what to say to pregnant women who are dealing with nausea and morning sickness. People say the stupidest stuff, and I'm just like, I know you mean well, but that was horrible, and I feel like punching you in the face. So I'll make a video about that too. So I will show you my stomach now. It won't be my actual like naked stomach because I'm wearing a dress. Next time I'll remember to like wear pants or something so I can show you the actual belly, but here's just a shot of what it's looking like under the dress or with the dress over it. So this is a 22-week belly. So why I feel like my pregnancy is a little different than the other ones that I see on YouTube. I consider myself plus size because I was 195 and I'm 5'1.5" at the start of this pregnancy. I'm like 211 now. So it was hard to see a belly at first because I'm like, I already had a gut, I already had a stomach, but it's more round now. So, and it's, I don't know, it's just harder. It feels like you're bloated, but also stuff is moving around. Because I can feel the baby move and kick. Very active at night. So this is the belly right now. If I pull my boobs up, you can kind of see it better. Alright, that is it for this video. Stay tuned for other videos talking about my pregnancy. So my channel is not going to turn into a motherhood channel. I mean, I'm obviously going to talk about my pregnancy and motherhood things because this is my current obsession. Like, this is all I think about is this baby and being a mother, and that's it. It means so much, in fact, that I'm wearing a necklace that says mama on it. Probably can't see, but it says mama. So I took a little hiatus the first trimester because I was so sick. Like, y'all, I couldn't record nothing. I was so sick. So now that I'm feeling better, it only took 5.5 months for the nausea to go away. I'm feeling better, so I'm hoping to get videos out more frequently. I'll be talking about other things. I have other content I want to talk about, but I'm also going to be talking about, you know, baby, motherhood, expecting type videos because this is my current life. So stay tuned for those videos. Thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you next time.